quote, I'm Tamil, Sinhalese, Muslim and Burgher. I'm a Buddhist, a Hindu, a follower of Islam and Christianity. I'm today and always proudly Sri Lankan. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in Scouting, I warmly welcome all of you to this wonderful evening. Last year, the 75th Colombo District Rover Crew, on behalf of the Camporee Organizing Committee of the 55th Colombo Camporee 2020, once again innovated a new addition to the Camporee, as always. The event you're witnessing this evening is the succession of the new addition, which is none other than the Fireside Chat of the 56th Colombo Camporee 2021. This year, the Camporee's theme under the topic Towards an Inclusive Society. And this year's Fire Chat, in this year's Fire Chat, we've got two prominent personalities in Sri Lanka joining us for a chat by the fire. Now, going back in time, last year at the 56th Colombo Camporee, we had the B in the BNS. I mean to say, Bhatia from BNS. This year, I think we've got the S in the SNM. I meant to say, Sangha from Sangha and Mahela. Please welcome our first guest speaker for today, Mr. Kumar Sangakkara, Sri Lankan cricket commentator, former professional cricketer, businessman, ICC Hall of Fame inductee, former president of Maliban Cricket Club, and most importantly, a Sri Lankan who has brought pride to his mother nation. Firstly, thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and joining us with the Fireside Chat of 56th Colombo Camporee.
It's a pleasure. Thank you,
sir, for joining us. Mr. Kumar Sangakkara, let me start off asking you about the quote I mentioned at the start. I am Tamil, Sinhalese, Muslim and Burgher. I'm a Buddhist, a Hindu, a follower of Islam and Christianity. I'm today and always proudly Sri Lankan. Could you please tell us a bit more about this, after all, it being very related to our Camporee theme this year, which is Towards an Inclusive Society?
Yeah, I think it's the mindset that all Sri Lankans must have, and not just Sri Lankans, but all youth and all people around the world, because if you are not open to differences, if you're not understanding of the variety of humankind, of peoples around the world, ethnicities, cultures, religions, etc., and if you are not willing to be a part of the whole and live in harmony and togetherness, it's not good or beneficial to you, your family, your society, your country, or to the world. So it is essential that we open our hearts and minds. We are open to understand, learn, grow, and to be able to piece together a life that is enriched by all the peoples around us, wherever they may come from, whatever their religions might be, so that our life is full of richness, full of vigor, full of vibrant thinking. And this kind of a society where everyone is valued, respected, and is connected to each other and adds value to each other is what I've always envisioned, Sri Lanka to be, what I've always known that Sri Lanka can be and must be. And the majority of us in this country and the world think the same. There shouldn't be no place for fear or for fear-mongering. There should be no place for suspicion. There should be no place for closing yourself off in ignorance from other people. And we as human beings are made to live together, to be connected. We are social creatures, and the family unit nowadays, with all this connectivity, extends way beyond just the home. You can be spread out far and wide in the world, and you can still have very close and intimate connections. And it is essential that we ourselves and the generations to come value that ability to connect, that ability to be, have room in your lives, your hearts and minds for others, and to love and respect, everyone that you're connected to, that you live with in today's society.
Definitely, sir. That was very well said. Because after all, we are all humans, and we've been created for one main purpose. And I believe what you said covered it all. Next, sir, Mr. Kumar, I did at the start give a brief introduction as to who you are, but that definitely would have not been worthy enough. So could our scouts watching us from all parts of the country and world know and understand you, Mr. Kumar Sangakkara, with your own definition of yourself?
Well, that's a tough one. I've been many things in my life. Starting off from a young age, then graduating into into the national cricket side. I played international sports for a long time. Now I've left that behind. I'm involved in administration of that same sport, coaching, being a father, husband, businessman, entrepreneur. So a lot of roles. It's very important that that you have phases in your life where you are more you kind of transition from one phase to another, one role to another, maybe one profession to another. You always keep growing, learning new things, doing new things, and it's very important to separate skill and identity. You are irrespective of what your profession is, and who you are is defined by your values, how you interact, how you connect, and how you conduct yourself. Whereas, that also plays a huge part in impacting your skill, your profession. I was a cricketer by skill, but that's not, all that I am and who I am. Everyone knows me for what I have done, but very few people know, me for me. So it's very important to have that separation of skill and identity, and value that identity and that integrity of that identity, no matter what you do in life. So I'm just, right now I'm at home with my family. So at this moment I'm just a family man. So maybe in another hour when I go for meetings, I'll be taking on a different role. So everyone is capable of being multifaceted and having different phases in life in different seasons.
Definitely, sir. Yeah, very well said. So now let's entertain a few questions that our scouts and rovers who have joined with us today, have got. So let's start off with Zaid from the 11th Colombo Scout Group. Over to you.
හයි ෂන් මගේ ප්‍රශ්නය ඔබ ශ්‍රී ලංකා මෙන්ම දැන් අතීතයේදී තවත් ලීග තරඟාවලිවල නායකත්වය දරා තිබෙනවා. එමෙන්ම මෑත කාලවලදී ඔබ රාජස්ථාන් රොයල්ස් ටීම් අබුධාබි වැනි කණ්ඩායම්වල පුහුණුකාරීත්වය දරා තිබෙනවා. එහෙනම් මගේ ප්‍රශ්නය සංඝා නැමැති පුහුණුකාරයා හා සංඝා නැමැති නායකයා අතර වෙනස ලෙස ඔබ දකින්නේ කුමක්ද?
මම හිතන්නේ නායකත්වය ගත්තහම හැම කණ්ඩායකම නාමික නායකයෙක් ඉන්නවා. නමුත් නායකත්වය ස්ථානෝචිතයි. එක වෙලාවට නායකත්වය වෙන අයට බාර දෙන්න වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒක හන්ද නායකයෙක් හැටියට තමන්ගේ කණ්ඩායමේ නායකත්වය උත්පාදනය කරන්න ඕනේ අනිත් අයගෙත්. ඒක තමයි නායකයෙක් හැටියට තියෙන විශේෂම කාර්යය. මොකද නායකත්වය කියන්නේ සේවාවක්. තමන් හැම වෙලාවම බලන්න ඕනේ තමන්ගේ නායකත්වය තුළින්, ආදර්ශය තුළින්, තමන්ගේ හැකියාව තුළින්, ඒ මඟ පෙන්වීම තුළින් අනුන්ගේ ඒ තිබෙන කාර්යයට තමන් කෙසේද බලවත් කරන්නේ, ඔවුන්ට කොහොමද පිටුවහලක් වෙන්න කියන ඒ සියලු දේ තුළින් තමන් එක්ක ඉන්නේ කණ්ඩායමේ සියලු දෙනාගේම නායකත්වය උන් තුළින් උත්පාදනය වෙලා එළියට ඇවිල්ලා වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි තමන්ගේ නායකත්වයත් ලේසි වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් නායකත්වය හැම වෙලාවම සේවාවක් ලෙස සලකන්න ඕනේ. මොකද සමහර අවස්ථාවල දෙයක් හරියාකාරව සිදු නොවුනොත් තමන් වගකීම බාර ගන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි සාර්ථකත්වයේ මැද්දේ හැම වෙලාවම ඉස්සරහට යනවට වඩා හැම වෙලාවම සාර්ථකත්වය ඒ තියෙන ප්‍රතිලාභ සෑම එක්ක බෙදාගෙන අසාර්ථක වුණාම තමයි හැම වෙලාවම තමන් පෙරට ඇවිල්ලා ඒ වගවීමකින් බාර ගන්න ඕන. ඒ වගේම තමන් ඒ නායකත්වය දරූ නිසා තමන්ගේ කණ්ඩායමේ වර්ධනයක් ඇති වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කණ්ඩායමේ සිටින ක්‍රීඩකයන්ගේ පෞරුෂය වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔවුන්ගේ හැකියාවන් වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔවුන්ගේ දස්කම් වර්ධනය වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම ප්‍රතිඵලත් කියන්නේ ධනාත්මක වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් මේ සියලු දේම ගත්තාම නායකත්වයට තියෙන පීඩාව ක්‍රීඩා කෞශල්‍යයත් හරියට කරන්න ඕනේ, ඉතුරු රාජකාරියත් කරන්න ඕනේ, හරියමන් තීරණ ගන්න ඕනේ, හරියමන් පුද්ගලයන්ව මෙහෙවන්න ඕනේ, පුද්ගලයන්ව හඳුනා ගන්න ඕනේ. සියලු දේම තමන්ගේ වගකීම බවට පත් වෙනවා. පුහුණුකරුවෙක් හැටියට ඒ වගේමත් ඒ නායකයෙක් තුළ තියෙන ඒ ගුණාංග සියලු දේම තියෙන්නත් ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම මඟ පෙන්වීම, ක්‍රීඩා කුසලතා වර්ධනය, පෞරුෂත්වයේ වර්ධනය, ඒ වගේම අන් සියලුම ක්‍රීඩා අපි කියනවා ටැක්ටික්ස් ඇන්ඩ් ස්ට්‍රැටජි සැලසුම් ගත කිරීම සියලු දේම තමන් බාර අරගෙන තමන්ගේ නායකයාත් කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා අනිත් පුහුණුකරුවන් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා හරියාකාරව ඉෂ්ට කරන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් ඉතාමත් ලොකු වෙනසක් නැහැ. එකම දේ තියෙන්නේ පුහුණුකරුවෙක් හැටියට තමන් හැම වෙලාවම බලන්න ඕනේ නායකයෙක් වගේම සේවාව කොහොමද මගේ මේ තියෙන දැනුම වෙන කෙනෙකුට ඒක මේ බාර දෙන්නේ කොහොමද? ඒ දේ හරියාකාරව වෙන කෙනෙක් තුළ කොහොමද තැම්පත් කරන්නේ? ඉතින් ඒ පුද්ගලයන් මෙහෙයවීම, හඳුනා ගැනීම කියන දේ ඉතාමත් වැදගත්. නායකයෙක් වුණත් පුහුණුකරුවෙක් වුණත්. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ සමානාත්මතාවයන් වැඩි වෙනස් කියන්නේ මේ වෙනස් වීම වලට වඩා. ඉතින් එකකින් අනිත් එකකට යද්දී මම හිතන්නේ පුහුණුකරුවෙක් හැටියට යම් අන්දමකින් වගකීම් වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද කණ්ඩායමේ ඉන්න 11 දෙනා පමණක් නොවේ, තවත් නොයෙකුත් පුහුණුවීම් කටයුතු ඒ සියලු දේම හරියමං විදියට සැලසුම් කරලා මෙහෙවන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් යම් කිසි අන්දමේ වගකීම් වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් ඉතාමත් කිට්ටුවෙන් සමානාත්මතා තියෙන කාර්යයන් දෙකක්.
Thank you, sir. We've got another question by another rover scout from the Colombo district. So let me now invite ʀɪ<hesitation> from 75th Colombo district rover crew to present.
Yes, Mr. Kumar, we obviously know you as a famous cricketer and also a great leader, but you're also an entrepreneur. So can we know that which motivated you to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I think one is that your time on the field is very limited, and your time away from the field beyond the cricketing kind of confines is much longer. So especially after retirement, you have to have planned your future quite well, your finances, your investments, and this business venture that we started with. Then I started with Mahala Javardhan and another friend of ours. Later on, with even more friends of ours, was a transition from one phase of my life to another. I was very lucky that I have good people around me with great skills that I don't have, which are essential to running successful businesses. And it's important to make those connections and have those relationships where the skills that you don't have are complemented by theirs, and the combination is quite effective, impactful, and successful. Just like in cricket, as in business, there's also a lot of failures, but at the same time, there are successes as well. So every time you fail, you learn, you strive, you plan, you learn new things, and you do things differently and better. So as you progress along with failures comes more and more success, and then hopefully more success than failures. So it's been an interesting journey in business for me. I'm still learning. There's still a long way to go in that, but I consider myself fortunate.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, ʀᴏ from the 75th Colombo District Rover Crew. And next, back to our original session. So we all know the brotherhood and the lifelong friendship that you and ʀɪԼ ʀɪ噚ᴜᴜ, another great inspiration who we all could look up to. So how does it feel to have a friend, a brother as such, by your side at all times? As we scouts have also been always taught on the importance of brotherhood and good friendship. So what are your opinions on it?
Yeah, I think brotherhood, friendship, fraternity, fellowship, community, all these connections you make in life, friendships, are very, very important. Some of them last a lifetime, some of them come and go, some of them change over the years. But the key is that the benefits of these connections you make are very powerful in everyone's life. So it's very important to surround yourself with good people, have good friends. And I've been very lucky in that sense, also in terms of support structures with family. When things get tough, no matter how famous you are or how successful in terms of financially you are, you need these support structures to fall back on, to lift you up, to keep you, grounded, to keep you on the right path. So it's very important that these connections are made and they're valued, and they're treasured.
Definitely. So friendship is something that we all should inculcate within ourselves, and a good friendship, most importantly. Yeah. So before we move on with some other questions that our scouts and rovers from our Colombo district have got, I think I've got one more question to ask from you, sir. So, Mr. Kumar, if you were to mention one decision that you took back in time, probably the best decision that you've ever made in your life, that brought you a long way, which helped you make become who you are today, what would it be? And also, have you ever wanted to go back in time and change history if it was possible?
Um, no, I think life, once it moves on, it moves on. There is no reversing it. So you make mistakes, you take decisions, and you have to live with those consequences, adjust, adapt, and then move on. Everyone has certain regrets in their lives. That's natural. But then you can't get stuck in the past or mired in it and be afraid to make new decisions and take tough decisions, which is essential to keep moving forward in life. I think the best things that happened to me is that I had great family growing up, I had great friends, my wife, my children, they've all been amazingly supportive, and I feel very special and very loved because I've had these people around me. So I think that's been the greatest decisions, not decisions, but greatest things that happened to me. And I have a very close circle of friends, um, who are grounded, who give me great advice. So I'm very fortunate to have that support structure around me. More than any decision that I've ever made, I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you, sir. Now let's move on with a couple of more questions we've got that our scouts would love to ask from you. So let me call upon ʀɪԼ from 17th Colombo Scout Troop. Over to you. Are you with us? Tariq, you could ask your question now. I believe she's facing a network glitch from her side. So let's move on with another question. We've got another question to be asked. So let me call upon Sanka Ranawaka from 42nd Colombo Scout Troop to ask his question.
Yeah. ඔබ මාලිබර්න් ක්‍රිකට් සමාජයේ සභාපතිවරයා ලෙස 2019 වසරේදී පත් වෙනවා. බ්‍රිතාන්‍යයේ නොවන ජාතියකින් එම තනතුර එතෙක් කාලයක් එම ක්‍රීඩා සමාජයේ ලබා දී තිබුණේ නැහැ. ප්‍රථම වතාවට විදේශිකයෙකු ලෙස එම තනතුර බාර ගනිද්දී ඒ බාර ගැනීම ඔබට කොයිතරම් අභියෝගයක් වුණාද සහ එම අභියෝග බාරගෙන ඔබට මුහුණ දුන්නේ කොයි ආකාරයෙන්ද?
මම හිතන්නේ ඒක එහෙම කියලා විශේෂිතම අභියෝගයකට වඩා ඒ කාර්යයට වඩා මං හිතන්නේ ඒ කාලවකමානුව තුළ තිබුණු වාතාවරණය තමයි ලෝකයේ ඉතාමත් මම හිතන්නේ අමාරු කාලවකවානුවක්. ඒ අභියෝගය වුණේ කොවිඩ් වසංගතය ලෝකයේ ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් පැතිරෙමින් තිබුණා. ඒක හන්දා ඒ ක්‍රීඩා ආයතනයට, ක්‍රීඩා සමාජයට, MCC ක්‍රීඩා සමාජයට නොයෙකුත් අමාරු කම්වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න සිදු වුණා. ඉතින් ඒවා සාකච්ඡා කරලා විසඳාගෙන කමිටුවක් හැටියට, සමාජයක් හැටියට ඉදිරියට යන්න එක මම හිතන්නේ යම් අවස්ථාවල අමාරු වුණා. නමුත් සියලු දෙනාම එකමුතුව එකට ඒ අභියෝගයන් වලට මුහුණ දුන්නා. ඉතින් අවුරුද්දක් වන ඒ සභාපති ධූරයේ කාල සීමාව අවුරුදු 2ක් දක්වා දීර්ඝ කරන්න මුල් වුණේ මේ කොවිඩ් වසංගතය නිසා. ඒ හුඟක් තිබුණු ඒ තරඟාවලි වැඩ කටයුතු කල් දාන්න ඕන එක. ඉතින් නමුත් මේ ගිය අවුරුද්දේ ඔක්තෝබර් 1 වෙනිදා මගේ ඒ සභාපති ධූරය අවසන් වුණා. ඉතින් ඉතාමත් මම හිතන්නේ මේ අභියෝගයක් වුණා ඒ අවුරුදු දෙකේ කාල සීමාව. ඉතාමත් හොඳට ඒ කාර්ය ඉෂ්ට කරන්න ලැබුණ එක ගැන මම සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා.
Thank you, sir. I believe we've got Tharuki Jayaratna back again with us. So let me invite Tharuki Jayaratna from 17th Colombo Scout Troop to ask a question. Tharuki, over to you.
Hi, Sangakara. Sorry for the inconvenience caused before. My question to you is, how do we educate our thoughts to remain calm and react positively in a challenging scenario that is difficult to be managed or completely cope up with?
Well, I think everyone has coping mechanisms inbuilt into them through learning, experience, awareness, exposure, and those coping mechanisms, stand us in very good stead throughout our lives. The danger is that sometimes, if you don't have the right support structures in place, those coping mechanisms can be overwhelmed. You can see that in the spike in especially with mental health issues in the world today, especially after the COVID pandemic, and the lack of free movement, the freedom of making human connections, to staying physically in touch with each other, face-to-face meetings, the social aspect of all human life that has been impacted over the last 2+ years. So it's very, very important to stay focused and grounded and take care of yourself and others around you. And when you do need assistance, to be able to ask for it, and not be shy or ashamed to ask for help in terms of keeping yourself mentally focused, fit and healthy and happy. And that's the greatest benefit that you have. At times life does get tough. You have sadness, disappointment, failure to deal with, and other complications that can come with times like this. A lot of people say their health has been impacted, their professional lives have been impacted, businesses, economies, so many things. the things that we took for granted for a very long time. We've seen that sometimes staying healthy and having people around you and being able to connect and live life well is more important than most things. And I think there's quite a huge perception and mind shift change to embrace kind of the new normal, where you prioritize physical and mental well-being, you prioritize kindness, gentleness, generosity, love, and respect, along with, of course, human rights, over most other things, even education systems around the world, school syllabuses, teaching methods. All of these are changing their sensibilities, sensitivities, and implementations. So there are lots of ways to do that, and some of the simplest ways is to keep your focus current on the immediate challenges facing you, on the good things and the positive things in your life, and keep focus and hold on, and keep a hold on to those. I think those are very important. They're the simple things that sometimes you miss when you try to look at this whole tapestry of life that can sometimes be overwhelming. But simple things like your family and friends, simple joys of life can give you a lot of strength when times get tough.
Thank you, Mr. Sangakkara.
Thank you, Scouts, and thank you, Mr. Sangakkara, for all of those amazing words. I quote, "The roots of all goodness in the soil of appreciation." Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar Sangakkara, for spending some productive time with all of us today, amidst all your busy schedules. I personally learned a lot, and I hope everyone else watching us live via the YouTube platform did learn as well. Thank you once again, sir, and hope to have you on board in the future as well. But that's not all for today. Today's Fireside Chat. Scouts and Cubs, stay tuned as we bring to you the next speaker for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure too, sir. Thank you. Welcome back, Scouts, to the Fireside Chat of the 56th Colombo Camporee 2021. The second speaker joining us for a chat by the fire is a prominent personality in the scouting arena, who is none other than Mr. Nanda Corey. He joined scouting as junior scout at the 21st Colombo Scout Troop in 1966. During his scouting career, he won the Queen's Badge, presently known as the President's Award. He was later appointed as an assistant scout leader in 21st Colombo Scout Troop in 1975. He was then invested as a rover of 75th Colombo District Rover Crew in 1974. He was an assistant chief commissioner during the period 1995 to 2005, and also he was the organizing commissioner of the 6th National Scout Jamboree, held in Balapitia in 2002. In recognition of his service to scouting, he was awarded the highest appreciation award by His Excellency, the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and also was awarded the Silver Lion by His Excellency, the former President Maithripala Sirisena. He is currently serving as a member of the Executive Committee of the Sri Lanka's Council for the Blind, SLCB, and was instrumental in inspiring the organization to start a rover crew for the visually impaired, which is the 99th Colombo Rover Crew at the SLCB. Mr. Nanda Corey is a practicing accountant by profession and has over 40 years of experience in accounting and finance. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Scouts and Cubs, please welcome our second speaker this evening, Mr. Nanda Corey. I would like to start off by thanking you, sir, for accepting our invitation and joining us with the Fireside Chat of the 56th Colombo Scout Camporee.
I am very happy to join you, Scouts, because I was a scout myself many years ago, and also member of the 75th Colombo Rover crew. So I'm very pleased to join you for this fireside chat.
Definitely, sir. We're glad to have you here. Mr. Nanda Korea, to start off with tonight's proceedings, may I ask you what inspired you to join Scouting in the first place in the late 90s? And also, what was the motive behind an inspiration that led you in serving the Scouting community even after leaving your troop?
Well, the reason I joined Scouting was because some of my friends were talking about the nice time they had in camps, and also to wear the Scout uniform. That had a big say in my joining Scouting, because at that time, when you wear a Scout uniform and you go to college, you're somebody. Although in the athletic team, and an athlete, the Scout uniform is always better than a normal athlete. So that's how I joined Scouting. Main reason was that.
And really inspiring story. So, in fact, most of the scouts in the present as well, they do love the scout uniform, and most of them do take that as a reason, I believe, to join Scouting. In fact, I was one of them, and so glad to hear the purpose of you joining Scouting as well, sir. Sir, Mr. Nanda Korea, I did mention a lot about your service, which you have been rendering to the Scouting community, and most importantly, your initiative and guidance in starting the 99th Colombo Rover crew for the visually impaired personals. What made or what inspired you in creating a platform for the visually impaired, which is sad to say, but mostly a marginalized community in the world we live in, even though they deserve to be treated equally and fairly as everyone in this world? So what were your motives, and what was the inspiration behind you starting the 99th Colombo Rover crew and working towards an inclusive society, sir?
Well, I was a member of the executive committee of the Sri Lanka Council for the Blind, and the main objective of the SLCB is to ensure that the visually impaired persons are also included in society. Then we had English classes, spoken English classes for these blind kids, as I call them, that they were not kids in school, after school, and also the English master who handled the spoken English was a scout master, scout leader, my good friend Shelton Pereira. So when I met Shelton there doing the English classes, and these young guys of rover age following the English classes with him, Shelton told me, "Sir, why don't we start a rover crew?" I said, "Very good. At headquarters, I can give whatever support you can, and you want the guy who is still involved in scouting, so let's start a rover crew." And that's how we got started. I think we had about 12 or 15 rovers who joined us at the beginning, mainly thanks to Shelton, because he was the guy, the English master, spoken English master for the visually impaired kids, who was also a scout and a good friend of mine and a warrant leader at Colombo district, who got this going. Thereafter, of course, we got Darshan and so many others involved. And with the support of the then DC, I think it was Suren, we started the 99th Colombo Scout group.
Thank you, sir. That was in fact really interesting to hear from you, the person behind starting the 99th Colombo Rover crew. And before we move on, I believe we've got a picture of a group photo of you along with few other members of your the 99th Colombo Rover crew. So I believe let's have a look at the picture. Let's have a look at the group photo before we move on.
Right, this photo was taken at the 2019 Rover Moot, which was held, I think, at the deaf school or whatever, at the Boys Town Ragama. And in the photo, I think there is Darshan, who was ADC Rovers at that time. Myself is there, and Vasanta, who was, I think, the Rover Scout leader for our 99, and another rover who is, who I think is Malik. And also one of my scouts at 21st, Nasif, is also in the picture. And maybe another guy, another friend of mine from Colombo district is also there. But there are two visually impaired kids in this picture. Now, what I want to say was, although there are only two people in this picture, there are about 14 or 15 of us who took part in that as part of the 99th Colombo Rover crew, who participated in that rover moot. Also, some of these rovers at that time, when I meet them now, they still talk about the nice time they had at the rover moot, and some of the rovers I meet today talk about meeting Vasanta and all these people. So all in all, that rover moot was a very profitable experience for the 99 Colombo rovers who were mainly visually impaired persons. Unfortunately, with the COVID situation, our rover activities have stopped at the moment, but we hope to get it going again.
Thank you, sir, for that backstory behind that group photo, and I believe the scouts will get a chance to see that photo shortly. So, sir, finally, before we wrap up things, I would like to ask one more question. So, what advice and what tips would you give us scouts watching us live on how could they, as an individual, work towards creating an inclusive society for the betterment of all, regardless of anything? So, furthermore, not forgetting to mention the 56th Colombo Camporee is also themed under the theme towards an inclusive society, which definitely is a turning point of Colombo Scouts in making a generation which respects and which works towards an inclusive society. So, what are your tips and what have you got to say about this, sir?
Well, my advice to most of the young scouts of today is, you became a scout once a scout, always a scout. And we became scouts, we took the scout law and promise. Live the scout law and promise always. And one item in the scout law, which in our time was a long wording, a scout is a friend to all and a brother to every other scout, no matter what country, class or creed the other may belong. So that has been shortened now to say scout is brotherly. But anyway, with that in mind, all people, whether impaired or marginalized or not, are all brothers to us as scouts and are friends to us. So I would say, include all of them, and I'm very happy that the theme of this camporee is an inclusive society, because that is 100 years ago, our founder Lord ʀᴏ had also included that as a friend to all and brother to every as a scout. So my advice to scouts is, live the scout law and the promise always, and you will always be happy. Main thing is, as our founder said, main thing is to be happy and enjoy life. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. Thank you for sharing us a few of your thoughts on that. And definitely, I believe our scouts could work just like you did, sir, towards making an inclusive society for the betterment of all. So finally, I would like to quote, "The roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation." Thank you very much, Mr. ʀɪឡիկ, for spending some productive time with all of us today. Maybe it was short, but I believe it was very productive for all of us amidst all your busy schedules. Thank you once again, sir, and hope to have you on board in the future as well.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure being with the scouts always. Thank you, and a very good, my best wishes to the Colombo Camporee. Thank you, and all the best. Bye.
With that, I would like to convey my special thanks to the 75th Colombo District Rover Crew for organizing the Fireside Chat for the second consecutive year. And furthermore, senior scouts, here's something for you. If you are above the age of 17 and a half, and if you are interested in organizing such events and taking part in adventurous events, hikes, camps, and many more other exciting events organized by the Rover Crew itself, visit 75th Colombo Rover Crew Facebook page and Instagram page and get yourself registered right now. With that said, thank you and stay safe till we meet again at the 56th Colombo Camporee. This is Muad Humaz signing off.